All right, guys, in this vehicle specific video, we're going to be doing a 2019 Honda Accord. We're going to start with the outside prep, the inside prep, and the gasket removal, but let's wipe the outsides first and apply the dryer sheet to the rear window. All right, now let's jump right into the gasket removal. We'll start with the front door. This is very similar to this year model range of the Honda Civics, exactly the same. We're gonna roll the windows completely down. I'll do the front and the rear at the same time. And then with the door panel, we're gonna grab it. And you can see this gasket here. We're gonna grab the panel, leave the gasket behind, and pull the panel back. Now we have the gasket exposed, or the weather stripping exposed. We're gonna grab it just like the Honda Civic, roll it forward, and then pop it out. Typically it doesn't come out that easily. You have to pull the back up and then roll it towards you to get it to release, but this one popped right off. We'll roll the window back up and we'll do the same thing on the rear door, and then we'll go to prep. The only thing that's different on the rear door is you have to remove this little triangle plastic piece here, so we'll stick the gasket jamming stick in the back corner of it, pop it off, and it kind of goes back on like a hinge. There's two little grooves here, or there's two grooves there. There's two parts of plastic that go into the grooves, and these clips pop back in, so it's kind of like a hinge. We'll go ahead and pop the panel back. On the back door, it's a little stiffer, so you're gonna have to grab a gasket jamming stick, put it in the top rear of the panel, push it in there and twist it while pulling back on the top, and that'll release this clip right here that holds it all in place. Pull back the rest of the top, and then we'll grab the gasket. When it's cold out, it's a lot harder to do. It's cold here in New York, so this is a little stiffer. See, now we have the back released. We're gonna twist it towards us, towards me, and you'll see when I twist it, it releases. Now let's go ahead with the inside prep, and then we'll lay out the bulk material. On the Accords, you're gonna want to remove this sticker here. You definitely don't want that in your tint job. Then just wipe the bottom edge of the door on the outside. And then we'll finish off the prep with the quarter window. All right, let's lay out the bulk material. This vehicle is getting 20% SunTech Standard Pro on the two fronts and 5% on the whole rear half. So we'll start with the front door. It's a very standard vehicle to do. We're gonna lay the material down just like any other front door, shift it forward about 1/4 of an inch, and then cut the top. Nothing special about it. So we'll line up the bottom edge, pushing it all the way down into the bottom because we removed that inner weather stripping, so we can drop it down below it. We're gonna cut the front edge first. If you were doing the same shade on the entire vehicle, this top section could be used for the rear quarter glass window, but we can't do that because we're doing darker on the rear. Shift it forward that 1/4 inch, line up the bottom, mount it in place, cut the rear. Then we'll roll it down and cut the top. Making sure you get the bottom of the tint out of that gasket so it doesn't get scrunched up. Mount the top down. Do a nice, even, consistent cut. And just like any other vehicle, we'll straighten out the edges, round out the corners. in this front top corner. I'll continue from the top edge and make a nice natural radius. Now we can mount this on the outside, do the spray squeegee spray on the inside, and then we'll apply this to the inside. Removing the entire liner since we are bottom loading this. Front corner in first to get that front edge in, slide it into place, drop the back down, even out the front and the rear, line up the top edge, and then we can go ahead and mount it in place. I know this is going to move as I squeegee it because it is cold, so do a soft squeegee strokes first just to get most of the soapy water out. Then we'll reposition it and then go over it with a final press. Once you have it mounted in place, we can go down the sides. Since this is so open here, I can use a gray lid coat card and just push into the sides. Same thing with the front. If it was any tighter, you'd have to use an easy reach or a yellow contour. After we pushed out the front and the rear, across the top with the blue huck towel, gray lid coat card, and the heat gun. Now if you do have a finger on the top, you're going to want to push that before you heat it because you don't want to shrink. You typically don't want to shrink on the top. You want to keep that for the bottom. Make sure you're not moving the material. And then we'll go from the outside with the heat gun. Do some final touches with the little chiseler, pin card. Focusing on the rear and front corners. And then inspecting the entire top. Any little imperfections, you can work those out. You will have them. All right, now that we have the top pushed out, the sides are pushed out, we can go ahead and roll it up and finish off the bottom. There's nothing special about this vehicle. This is the same exact method that I'll teach you in the door window mini course that's on the YouTube channel. We have some fingers here, so we sprayed a little bit of soapy water. We're gonna go ahead and shrink those really quick with the gray lid coat card. Once they get squiggly, push them out. Very simple and straightforward. Don't overthink this process. Overthinking is what will make you mess it up. Check our sides with the easy reach, just to make sure everything's laid down nicely. And give our panel a wipe down. And check the outside. Everything looks good, so we'll go ahead and jump onto the rear door. So with the rear door, we're doing 5%. And we're also going to use the top portion, the extra material for the quarter glass window. So again, this vehicle is very straightforward, just like any other rear window. We're going to line up the bottom, cut the back, shift the back a 1/4 inch, mount it in place. Make sure that bottom's lined up. Cut the front, roll it down, cut the top. Very straightforward. So we're gonna line up the bottom, cut the back edge. When you cut the back edge, you don't wanna go any higher than this point here. You don't wanna cut this radius because that'll show on the window when you roll it down. So you only want to cut up about 3.5 inches. I'm going to shift it back that 1/4 inch, covering that entire gasket, making sure the bottom's lined up. Mount it in place. Cut the front edge. The front edge you can cut all the way up to the top. We'll cut this excess material off, keeping it nice and tight so that we can use this for the 1/4 window. We'll just mount this on here. Line a straight edge up to the top edge. Since this is a 5% film, I'm going to use the light on my phone to guide me. I'm going to cut right to the edge of the dot matrix, just like any other 1/4 glass window. On this vehicle, you specifically want to keep it nice and tight because the edges are very close on the inside and the material may bunch up. We'll put that on after we do the door. So as far as the door, we cut the back, shift it back a 1/4 inch, mount it in place, cut the front. Now we can go ahead and roll it down. Our bottom edge is nice and lined up. I'm gonna cut the top edge. And when you cut the top edge on this, we have this hard radius here. So we're gonna cut across the top, continue all the way through, and then we'll start a new cut to cut down. So the top edge first. Put that away. And then the back edge. And then we'll clean this up when we clean up the edges now. So with this back edge, what we're going to do is continue this back straight edge right here with the hard card. And then we'll use that to clean up the top corner. We'll continue from the top and round into the back. Keep the bottom corners nice and tight. And then this top radius here, I'm going to keep that nice and tight as well. Clean up any jagged edges. Then the front top corner, of course, we're going to do the continuation. And create a nice tight radius. And then all we have left is this bottom corner, same as all. Now we can mount this on the outside, spray squeegee spray on the inside, and we can go ahead and mount it into place. Go ahead and drop the front corner in first. Line up that whole front edge. Get that front top corner in. Slide it forward. Lay the back down. Slide it back. Line up the top edge. Make sure that back edge is even. And we can mount it in place. Doing a final hard press into the sides. Now we'll push out the top with the gray Lidco card, blue huck towel, and the heat gun. Now that we have the top pressed out, we'll check it from the outside with the heat gun on the outside, squeegeeing off the water, looking for any imperfections or little dust specks. Again, focusing on the corners. You want to make sure those are laid down nicely. If it's going to peel, that's where it would peel from. And then we'll push out all the way across the top. And we can go ahead and roll it up. Just like the front door, we're going to have to shrink some of these fingers, but they're very simple, nothing crazy. We'll just focus on getting those sides laid down. Spray our soapy water solution. Grab the heat gun. Gray lid coat card always on the inside. Shrink it up. And again, once we have it rolled up, check it from the outside. Make sure everything's all good. Corners are all laid down, so let's apply the quarter glass window, and then we'll get into shrinking the rear window. Just so you guys know, just like any other vehicle specific video, I have the rear window pre-cut. It's very straightforward. You're gonna lay the film out. You'll learn it in the rear window process mini course that's on the YouTube channel, how to exactly hand cut the back window without cutting the glass. But I'm gonna use the pre-cut because I have it to make this video a little bit quicker. So we have the quarter glass window. I'm going to offset it so you guys can kind of see what I'm doing here. Squeegee across the top. I'm going to spray squeegee spray on the inside to remove any contaminants that are on the glass. When you do a quarter glass window, you want to wipe the squeegee after each stroke, just to make sure you get all the debris that's got collected on it off of it before you put it back on the window. We'll peel a clear release liner. We can go ahead and put it inside. Very simple, just palm it. Lay it in there without hitting any of the plastics. Make sure there's no light gaps. Perfect. Now when I do these quarter glass windows and it's chilly out, I like to wipe the outside of the window. I'll heat it from the outside a bit just to get the glass warm. So once I hit the tint with the first squeegee stroke, that first stroke will mount it in place to make sure that it doesn't move any further when squeegeeing the rest of it out. So we'll heat up the glass, make sure it tacks with that first tack point, and then squeegee the rest of the window out. You don't want to get it too hot, but you want to get it just hot enough to where you can still touch it. Let the heat to transfer to the inside. We'll grab a 3.5 inch. I'll give it a little tack point. You can see here. Now this area right here is mounted in place, and I can push harder on the rest of the tint and it won't move around. It's a little quarter glass window trick. Push out around the perimeter, and we are set to move on to the rear window. Very simple. Right now this is a pre-cut like I said before, so you don't have to line it up perfect if you're doing a pre-cut. Just get it as close to the dot matrix as possible. That way it shrinks to the right part of the window. Go ahead and lay down the H pattern. If you guys have watched any of my other videos, you know that I shrink the back window with a felt card. So I'm going to grab that and we'll shrink this up. We'll make sure our fingers are evenly spread out, and we'll go shrinking. Very easy back window to shrink. If I'm doing this too quick for you, guys, remember there's over, I think, almost 40 videos on my YouTube channel. You can watch all of them and pick up on pieces on each and every single one. So that's the whole idea with these vehicle-specific videos, is to give you different shots on different vehicles. Watch all of them and you'll get it. And if you have any questions, comments, ask away. Now that we have the back window all shrunk, We're gonna do Frankenstein off of the rear window, so let's go ahead and spray the perimeter, squeegee that out, and then we'll go to the inside and do the inside prep, and then we'll grab the material from the outside. Squeegeeing the perimeter will remove any of the debris that's around the edges. So when we peel the liner and spray it up, none of that debris will drip into the window. Let's go inside and do this inside prep. So the first thing we're gonna do is remove the headrests because they're very easy to remove. There's just a little button here on the right side. Push it, pull the headrest up at the same time, pops right out. The center one obviously doesn't remove because it's attached to the seat. And a little tip here is this whole rear deck is speakers. So you could take your Blue Hawk towel while you're cleaning, just lay it out in the center there. That'll be enough as long as you don't use an excessive amount of water. You'll be a lot safer than you were if you didn't do that. And we'll do a standard rear window prep. Go ahead and wipe it with the Blue Hawk towel, focusing on the edges in the lower deck. And then we'll wipe the entire window. Lay the towel back down. Then we'll do our spray squeegee spray. Overlapping strokes is very important. Notice how I spray water after each different tool. That's so I can lubricate above where I am so I can overlap that area. Before I grab the tint on the outside, I'm gonna go ahead and lay a towel in the trunk because I know on these Hondas, they like to drip down into the trunk area. So let's do that really quick. The inside's all prepped, ready for us to apply the film. So we're just gonna go ahead and peel the release liner, spray it up as we go. And I highly recommend taking off any watch if you do have one on. So I'm going to do that. Just like any other rear window, I'm gonna get that bottom edge on first, work our way down. Make sure we're getting behind the brake light. While paying attention that no material is bunching up. The last thing you want it to do is bunch up somewhere. The top corner lined up. Check the light gap on the bottom. When you cut this window out, you want to make sure you cut it nice and tight because the gaskets on the Honda Accords are known to be very close to the edge. So once we have it all lined up, we'll do our standard spray and squeegee into place. Again, you can put the towel on the deck lid, save the water from dripping onto the speakers as you squeegee, and we'll squeegee this out. Final press with the bulldozer across the bottom. Go ahead and wipe the dryer sheet off of the back window so we can give it a final check. You can see some spots that I missed. The lower deck area is very close to the back window here. It's a little hard to work with, so always check your work from the outside and go back on the inside and fix it up. So we're always gonna have this little corner down here, like I said before, is very close. So you can look from the outside if your arms are long enough. Grab the bulldozer and just push it down. Put it into place. And that's just the dot matrix there, so that'll dry out evenly. And we'll do a little post heating from the outside, just to get it to tack up. This back window looks all good. Now that the back window is done, all the windows are all done, we can go ahead and put the gaskets back in. So it's very simple. Pull back on the panel, lay it on, push it forward, pop it down into place, and then we'll go ahead and smack it back into place. It's all just clips. And the rear door, same exact thing. We just have to put this corner back on. Sometimes this clip will fall off. It simply just slides back into here. Remember, put the front edge on first. Pop it into place. That's it. The last step, of course, would be putting the headrest back in, moving the seats back, starting the car. But other than that, that is how you tint a 2019 Honda Accord. I'll see you guys in the next video.